tax planning begins in year one. And there's so many people out there that don't believe that you could reduce your liability down to zero. Yes, you can reduce your liability down to zero with the right advisors. And I had another doctor who's a client of mine, and he said, "Really, Rachel, how? Tell me how." I said, "I will tell you how." He just signed on. He's making a few $1 million a year. And he goes, "Because I've never heard of it." "Thank you for asking me." I said, "Let me tell you this. Let's say you have $1 million liability." I said, first things first is there are strategies that are for free, like your home office, right? You could deduct your utilities, and there's the Augusta strategy. We exhaust those strategies first. Let's say we do $100,000. Now we're minimizing your liability by $100K because we did the retirement, we hired your kids. And then there's other strategies like the R&D credit that most CPAs are not familiar with, and they call it a scam because they're unfamiliar with it. So we work with you and you say, "I want to buy a property." So we research to see what is the best property that you can purchase to offset the income. And with proper planning, you put an offer on the right property. And then we say, "Okay, great. You bought property one. Now we have $200,000 extra to offset." So there are other strategies that you can 5X, 8X, or 10X your investment. And we tell you, you need to put an investment of X to reduce 200,000. If you know what your liability is, then it's easy to know what amount you should offset. So it's very simple. You do your numbers for the 3 months. You know what your income is. You know what your liability is. You go out there and you find strategies to offset that number. You're looking at that number like it's the Wall Street board. So then 6 months later, it's June 15th. You're like, "Holy shit, I made $600,000. My liability is 200K. What do I need to do to reduce my liability? Rachel, what property should I purchase in order for me to reduce my liability so I could do cost seg?" We work together. Let's say you give an offer in August, that liability gets reduced. Now we look at their liability again. And then we say, "Okay, your liability now is $50,000. What do we need to do? Let's put money into your SEP IRA. Let's hire your children. Let's find other things that we could do legally to offset your income." And then when they do it, their liability goes down to zero.